So I've nearly come to the end of this presentation. I've tried to give you a flavour of how to use SPSS, and I hope you can see that it might be useful if you need to analyse data. I'm back in the workbook now, and there's quite a lot more material that I'm not going to cover because I think this presentation's been long enough. So we've ended up at the crosstabs and the odds ratio here. If I go through the workshop book, there's a lot more text and explanation. I go through a lot more material, different tests, and so on, and so slightly more advanced procedures. And then at the end, there's a section called selecting the appropriate statistical test with some information about how to select statistical tests, and then a little bit more about accessing SPSS. Finally, if you'd like to try SPSS yourself, there's a document on the KLE called SPSS exercises, and in that I've used one of my own data sets from one of my own research projects, and what I've done is written an introduction that tells you about the data set. Then there are some questions. I'll just show you some of the questions. So they start off with some quite simple questions. First of all, just go through about loading SPSS and so on. And then there's a series of questions using simple descriptive and inferential statistics. I'll show you. So it shows you some of the possible questions. What are the frequencies of certain variables? What's the relationship between different variables? How would you do a graph and so on? And then after the questions, what I've done is I've put an answer grid, and you can cut and paste the answers using SPSS yourself. And then after the blank template, I've put model answers about how I would go about trying to answer the question. So that's something, if you're interested in trying to use SPSS yourself, some simple exercises to help you become more familiar with SPSS.